Welcome, everybody. Welcome to finally, welcome to the FanJam talk show, the oldest show in town where you can get tea, the real netball tea. Um, so tonight we have, as usual, our international panel. We have in Birmingham, we have Jack Huxley. Jack, how are you today?
Yes, very well, thank you, Colin. How are you?
I am sitting good. I'm feeling good here in our London studios. It is sweltering down here. And from Jamaica, we have Kurt Gale. Kurt, how are you feeling today?
Hi guys, how you doing? Good to be here. I'm feeling great. Looking forward to Sammy and the rest of the crew.
Okay. And especially as Sammy is a goal attack, like yourself, a more accurate one, I would say. Oh, I'm showing a little bit of shade as we start. Oh, Sammy, you'll have to get used to that. We throw a lot of shade here.
No, I'm very excited to be a part of it. Thank you for having me.
Oh, excellent. Sammy, for the viewers that are watching, Sammy Gooden is or was on the under 21 that was supposed to be this year. The 21
No,
under 21.
I was in the previous sort of squad of that. I didn't end up going to Africa, but I was in the squad and got cut just before the actual tournament, but was a part of the process leading into it, which is exciting. So it's very unfortunate the girls can't have their opportunity this year, which is a shame, but hopefully in the next 4 years it's back up and running.
So, Sammy, our viewers are watching, and of course, they want to engage, they want to know about you because they see you week in, week out, like the ice cream, picking that ball up with a very unusual shooting technique. I mean, your technique reminds me of Sid Neal with a real high one arm shot, and the way sometimes I think you leave it up there deliberately after that. After you do that switch, tell us about you. Tell us about yourself. When did you get involved in netball? How did all this come about?
Yeah, so I've always been a really sporty kid. Since I was 5, I started playing netball and basketball. So started really young and just progressed, I suppose, just through the pathway. Was played quite high up in basketball as well, and then netball just sort of came about. I didn't really make a Victorian team when I was young, so I missed out on all the state teams and all that, and it wasn't until under 19s where I actually got selected to go and play for another state, the Northern Territory. So I went and played for them, and from there I made the Aussie squad, and then from there my pathway in Victoria sort of started, and I progressed through the ANL and then into the Collingwood Magpies and then the Melbourne Vixens, and then I found myself here. So yeah, it's a bit about me. Always very sporty. Love every sport.
And you're one of 7?
One of 5.
Is it one of 5? Right.
Yeah.
Yep. My producer got it wrong again. I'll have them later for that. You're one of 5.
5. You can say whatever.
Okay. So tell us, were your siblings competitive? Were they all they sporty like you? Are they as tall as you?
My older sister is 30, so I'm 24. She's not that tall. She's probably, she is, I suppose, tall. Like she's 5'10". I'm 6'3", but so she's tall. My brother's 6'6". Oh, my alarm's going on. My brother's 6'6". So
oh my
pretty
goodness.
tall. Yeah, and he's 28. And then below me is my 16-year-old brother and my 14-year-old sister. So they're still growing. So it'll be interesting to see how tall they get. But my older brother and sister were both very sporty. So I suppose I fell in love with sport from going and watching them play. That's where I sort of fell in love with netball as well. Hi, Shabby.
Right. So Terry,
and then my younger
one
brother
of the
and sister are sport. They're probably not as sporty as what I was, but they love it too. So that's good.
so you're one of the most I'd say one of the more exciting shooters coming out of Australia at the moment. You're tall, you're mobile, you're accurate, you leave that shot up there, the hand up there. I mean, tell us about the pressure of playing in the Suncore competition because you have some very imposing defenders coming down on you week in, week out. And how do you deal with this? Because, oh my God, I feel like breaking down.
Yeah, it's definitely a pretty tough league to be a part of. Obviously, with defenders like Shami, you never know what you're coming up against. But no, I think especially with the 2-point role, it's something that I really embraced. Obviously, coming from a basketball background too, I was a 3-point shooter in basketball, so I suppose the long shot's always been quite natural for me. And so I think it sort of excites me to come on and shoot the twos. It's I find it really enjoyable, and I know that's my role, and I'm just taking every opportunity I get, and I'm just turning and looking at the post and not having any fear about what the defenders are doing. I'm just trying to shoot my own shot, and if it misses, just trying to get the best crack at the rebounds. So that's sort of my mentality going into it, just to have the best impact I can, I suppose, and take my opportunities when I can.
Right, so I'm going to throw you out now to my pundits because I can see them there with their mouth watering, ready with questions to burst at you. And I'm going to come to you, Kurt, because you are a goal attack. And I think sometimes you try to do a little bit of the old Sammy Gooden as well. So let's have you. You're on mute, mate.
Oh, here we go. All right, sorry. Colin, is your introduction. You just threw me out the door, so I was. All right, so Sammy, so goal attack to goal attack, and I'm sure there's a lot of young kids that might be watching, and a lot of aspiring goal attacks. Colin mentioned earlier that I'm not quite as accurate as you are, even though I do love a long shot. It's something I pride myself on. What are some tips that you would give to young shooters out there that want to be so accurate on the long shots like you?
I think it just sort of comes down to practice. And I've always been, I suppose growing up, I probably didn't practice my netball shots as much as I practiced my basketball shots. So because I was playing both sports, basketball probably took the priority in terms of how much I practiced. But definitely as you get older, the defense gets better. You have to sort of put in the effort to make sure you are accurate on the court. And I think a lot of it just comes down to believing in yourself as well. If you're hesitant on your shot, then that's where the doubt starts coming in and your shot technique might go a little astray. So I think it's just really about making sure you have that confidence within yourself to put up the shot. And again, my mentality is if I miss it, I'm just going to get the rebound. So just always looking to that post and knowing that your team backs you, your coaches back you to put that shot up, and that's your role. So, and I always, I have the same sort of process when I shoot. So I always make sure I bend my knees and take a big breath before I put the shot up. And finish with my flick. And so just repetitiveness. Yeah, my shot is a little bit weird, definitely.
Right. So I'm glad you mentioned about the techniques because you don't have the textbook technique, as you would say. Your shot is a bit unorthodox. Tell us a little bit more about your technique.
Yeah, so my shot has definitely changed over the years. So when I was younger, again, because I played basketball, I think I shot from a bit lower. So my Victorian Netball League coach took me aside in one of our off seasons and we sort of changed my shot together. So it was probably like a 6-month process because obviously you can't just go from changing your shot to a different technique and it working straight away. So I remember my first game out coming out with this new technique and I think I missed 8 in a row and I was like, oh, get me off the court. I can't shoot anymore. I think it has definitely changed over the years since then as well. I think I'm definitely leaning more to the left, which when I go back, I don't feel like I am. So I feel like it's very I feel like I'm just going straight down and up, but I'm definitely not doing that when I watch myself back. So It's a bit weird, isn't it? I don't really know how to describe it because it doesn't feel like I do that. But I just try and make sure I do the same thing every time. So
whatever it is, Sammy,
going with the flow.
Once it goes through, that's okay. Jack?
Yeah.
Jack, what do you, Jack? Let's have it.
Yeah. So, hello, Sam, and welcome to the show. Was just going to ask, kind of, what's the vibe like in camp at the moment? Is it kind of, I guess recent results would make a big difference, considering where you guys have kind of come from and where you feel like you're going. Yeah, how's everyone feeling?
Yeah, great question. I think this off season we had such a great time together, and our practice matches went really well, and we had such a really good height within the group, and we all get along really well, which definitely makes for a more successful team when you're all getting along super well on and off the court. And I think we were so disappointed in the first 5 rounds because we knew we were so much better and we knew we could get those results, and we were just falling short a few times. So to finally get the win last Saturday was so exciting, and I think everyone was just like, yes, that's what we've been working for, that's what we know we can achieve, and we know now that we can push ourselves to make sure that happens every time. So I think it's just making sure we're consistent with our our starts, making sure we start really well and just keep it going throughout the whole match and not have our dips and flows, and try and keep the momentum going throughout the whole game. But yeah, so exciting to finally get the win on the board, and we've got a big game coming up tonight at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. So I think we've got over 6,000 people coming, so it will be a really exciting atmosphere, and hopefully we can get another win on the board.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you think, because I think looking at your results since round 2, the most you've lost by is 8 goals, and that was to the Fever, who've obviously beaten everyone so far. And after tonight, you'll have obviously played everyone once. So is there a belief in the camp that, in the second half of the season, you can kind of take on any team you want and beat them on your day?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're ready and firing to go, I think, and we know. I think in the preseason we had the great ability that we were playing teams twice, so we versed them on the Saturday, for instance, and we come again and play them again on the Sunday. And quite often we lost the first game, but it was very close. And then the second game we came out and knew what we're coming up against, and really planned against that. So I think we'll have so much knowledge going into the second round of the season, and the spirits are so high. We know we can beat every team when we play our best game, and we're just excited to go out and I think prove to ourselves that we are capable of winning, and prove to everyone that we are a team that is competitive, and we need to bring it to us too as well.
Yeah, nice.
Who's been the toughest defender you've come across? Because I mean, in the competition, you have some really really aggressive dog-eat-dog type of defenders. I mean, who's the one that really gets under your skin?
It's a really good question. I think every defender in the league has their own individual game and makes them really hard to come against. I don't think no defender is the same in our league. One that's really hard to play against is Carla Pastorius. I can't say her last name correctly, but she is just so, especially me being a taller goal attack, because I'm not as quick as what a smaller one might be. She just rides me the entire time, and it's hard to sort of find my own space because she's right on me. So I have to really try and be smarter in my gameplay to make sure I can beat her and be an option for the ball. So I think she definitely makes you think more. And even when you think you're free, she's going to be coming up right behind you to sneak in and get that ball anyway. So just makes you think more. But every defender is incredible. I'm very happy I'm on Shami's team and not having to play against her. She's incredible doing that one. But
Colin, we've got a question from one of our viewers.
Yes, let's have it.
So Oystian has asked Sammy, what do you believe you need to work on to improve your game?
Yeah, great question. I think it's just about learning every single game and knowing that, I really think I've always got something to improve on, so never thinking I've done enough. So always just trying to make sure I'm working really hard in the fitness part so I can run out full games and be a threat the entire game and not let my intensity sort of wear off throughout the game, and being really strong onto the ball. Obviously, being tall and a goal attack, I have the strength to sort of go up for a hold in the middle of the third. Like I can do different things being taller than the defenders at the time. So I think just always trying to make sure I'm fit and strong and can offer the best to my team. And then just putting in 110% effort every single training session to make sure I'm doing my part for the team so that we can get across the line.
And I think it's a. Oops. Go ahead, Kat.
Yes, I wanted to ask Sammy again. You mentioned earlier that it excites you to come on in the last 5 minutes to put up those super shots. I mean, it's a hard role to play, so I'm glad you're excited because you're doing it pretty well. So that shows that you're enjoying it. But are there times when you feel that, hey, I want to play the full 60 minutes, and how do you deal with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think every player would be kidding themselves if they weren't wanting to be on the court for the full game. But I think in this league, it's just such an honour to be a part of it. So for me, I'm just taking the positives where they come. Obviously, I'm going to keep striving and working really, really hard to try and be the best player I can be, and then hopefully more opportunities come. But I'm playing my role at the moment and just trying to do the best I can for my team and be the best team person I can be. I'm very much a very positive person and try and get the girls up and about. So I'm doing everything I can on the bench while I'm not out on the court. But yeah, I think I'm just trying to take every opportunity I can. And hopefully, I get some more opportunity, but I'm really happy with the role I'm playing and just being a really good team person. So yeah.
Last question from me. So next year, everyone is out of a contract. I mean, you to me, in my opinion, you have shown yourself to be a starting player caliber. Is a move possibly on the card if the opportunity comes up?
It's staying.
Oh, good question, Kurt. To be honest, I don't think those conversations haven't even come into my head yet. So I'm just sort of focusing on game by game at the moment, and those conversations will come. But no, I'm really happy where I am, and I love my team, and I love Adelaide. So I'm whatever happens. But I love Shammy Girl.
That's the correct answer. And I think it's a perfect time to bring in the queen of the team talk. I mean, last week she gave it the team talk and then turned around and gave a little cheeky wink to the television. I mean, it's Shamira Sterling. Shamira, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you guys for having me today.
And your first win, Captain Marvel. Tell us, what was the feeling like? Because we felt good over here. We felt real good. I can't tell you how I screamed. My neighbors were saying, "What's the lunatic going on over there?" I mean, how good was this?
Well, I know for the first 5 rounds we have lost, and then we lost to the Lightning by. I think that extra motivation came from that Lightning game losing by 1. So we know we had to take on the Vixens to get that win, because Vixens and Thunderbirds are like at the bottom now, fighting to win. So I think it was good to get that win over the Vixens to get us on the table. So hopefully this weekend we can take on the Swifts and get that win.
And yeah, so coming up to the Swifts, you know what it's like. You're gonna have to deal with the Caribbean shooting queen in Sam Wallace, the mercurial skills of Helen Housby, the feeding ability of Natalie Haythorne-Thwaite, the ruggedness of Maddie Proud, and the list goes on. How do we deal with this? And suppose both of you, how do you deal with a team like this, and what do we have to do to take them down?
I think in previous years when we have played the Swifts, and it was always at the entertainment center, I think when we've played the Swifts, it was always a good game for us. So last year when we played Swifts, so I think it's the first year when we played Swifts, we lost by 1. And I think I don't know why the Swiss team reminds me so much of the English team. That team that fights to the end and doesn't give up balls that easily. So I think it's just knowing the job that is cut out for you, and showing that on court.
Sammy, what are you looking forward in to this one? Because they've got some pretty rugged defenders. Sarah Clow, Turner. Oh my God, they're like human backpacks.
Yeah, it's always a good. It's always a great battle against the Swifts, and I'm always up for a physical game, so I like that aspect. I think when it gets obviously good sportsmanship, physical. I mean, no unsportsmanship stuff here, but I think it just means everyone's so committed to winning that ball. And I think against the Swift, it's just so important that we capitalise on our centre passes and we convert the ball. And then when we do get the turnovers, we make sure we convert them, because Swifts don't give up the ball that easily. And when it does get into the shooting circle, both Sam and Helen and Sophie are really accurate. So knowing that we probably have to turn the ball over before it gets there to help Shammy and Tilly and Laddie out, so that they're not under so much pressure. And yeah, just a really hard. It'll just be a really hard game that's played out one goal by one goal till the end, I think. It's always a good battle, and we are very looking forward to it.
Boys, anything you want to talk about this upcoming game with them?
Right. So
Jack?
Shamira, Sam Wallace, we can pretty much say she's the informed shooter in the league. She's probably the best shooter at the moment. I know you probably don't want to tell her, she's probably watching, you don't want her to know what you're going to do, but do you have anything in mind have you observed any weakness in her game, anything that you can exploit to get the better of her tonight?
I think with Sammy, even though Sammy can really shoot and is a very accurate shooter, but when she gets it like at the edge of the D, she's not a good passer feeding it back out to get it back in. So she's not that good on the pass, but you have to her attackers have to present it to her for it to be very good. And I think with Sammy killing everybody in the league, I just think that our defense today will have to be stopped from the front, and I know that's a very solid attack end, but that's where the work needs to start first for me to be able to shut down Sammy and confuse that feeding space into Sammy.
And coming over to you, Sammy. All right. So watching Swiss the past few games, they have done really well with hands over the shot. Have you observed any of that? What tricks they use? Anything?
Yeah, they are good with the hands over the shot, aren't they? And I feel like it's always different, so it's not predictable. So every time you put up the shot, it is a little bit different. I think, again, me being tall, I think it gives me a bit of an advantage, because my hands, when I do extend my arms, I am taller than a lot of other shooters, so it is a higher release, which is the reason I changed my shot in the first place, to put it up higher, so that it sort of takes a bit of the defense aspect away. But I think just backing myself to put the shot up, but also being aware that it will change. So maybe just switch up the timing of my shot and things like that. But I think if you think too much about the defense over the shot, then it probably takes away your shot routine or something like that. So I think just, again, making sure I back myself and just being aware of it and change it up if they do get on top of it and things like that. But they are very tricky with hands.
So let me tell you a little secret, something that I have noticed. They tend to try to intimidate the shooter with the hands over. They're not going to jump. They're just holding the hand and holding it for 3 seconds, trying to get you to fake it and hold it for long. So just turn and go to the post, Sammy. You'll be fine.
Thanks, Kurt. I'll remember that.
Thank you. Jack?
Oh, then we've lost Colin momentarily. Well, thank you, Coach Kurt. That was good, good advice.
Yeah, I love it.
I guess question for both of you. So last week, was I believe the first game I've seen where a team didn't attempt any super shots in the Swifts. So they didn't try any 2-pointers. Has that kind of affected your preparation at all, I guess, for you, Shamira, in terms of how you're defending in the Power 5? And Sammy, does that kind of, I guess, help motivate you to know that actually, even if you are just coming on for that 5 minutes, like scoring super shots is going to make a massive difference in terms of pressure for the Swifts?
I think once we pressure Swift the right way, like going goal for goal, I think that's where maybe one of us would be tempted to take the super shot to go ahead. But if it's in the third quarter or something where we're going head for head with goals, I don't think we actually need the super shot. It's when we get down to the nitty-gritty part, like in the last quarter, you don't want to draw but a win, then that's where we'd start going for the super shot. So yeah.
Yeah, it is an interesting one. I think, it will be probably a goal for goal sort of match. And I don't think the Swifts, well, who knows what they do tonight, but they probably will only start shooting them when they need to. It's sort of been the trend that they've been playing with. And I think we just sort of play it by ear and see what the coaches want to do as well. But I think also knowing that we don't have to use the super shot just when we're down, we can use it to our advantage. So I think not trying to force it too much, but if the opportunity presents itself where you land in the twos, then having the confidence to back yourselves and put the shot up anyway, but not trying to so much force the 2-pointers and to make it sort of a chaotic moving circle, more so just take it when the opportunity presents and see how it plays out. But as Shami said, I think it will be pretty much goal for goal for a while, and then in the nitty-gritty, you might see teams putting more up and things like that, but we'll see how it goes.
If I was the coach of the Thunderbirds, if I was the coach of the Thunderbirds, I would be backing Sammy in to take those super shots every 5 minutes right through the game. And I mean, whether it is to put pressure on the opposite team or just to go ahead, because she's quite capable and she's quite confident to shoot from there. And I mean, get it over with. It's a part of the game. Let's embrace it.
Thanks.
So, question for both of you here, because we have a defender and we have a shooter. The super shot. It's divided opinions. I mean, people in the northern hemisphere throwing things at the television. I mean, people in the southern hemisphere, they're throwing things at the television. The Africans are chucking everything. I mean, what do you think, Sammy, as a shooter? And Shamira, what do you think as a defender? I'll go to Sammy first.
Yeah, so I think I'm probably one of the only ones that actually like the super shot idea. Again, I think it comes down to my basketball background and always being a long range shooter. And I've always sort of, in my netball journey growing up, I've always shot long range anyway. So I feel like that 2-point zone is often was where I was shooting the ball anyway. So I suppose I didn't have any fear towards it. I sort of embraced it and looked at it as an opportunity to sort of, if you're down, you can come back from a lead, but also if you're in front, you can push that lead out and make it really hard for other teams to come back. So again, I think I'm one of the only goalers in the Suncorp Super Netball League that actually liked it. And I know others really don't like it, but I sort of just embrace it, and I took it as another opportunity for me to play my role and sort of embrace it. Yeah.
I think for me, 50% of me likes the super shot, and then another 50% doesn't like the super shot. But you know why? When you have two shooters, one that's capable of taking the super shot, and then one that is not going to really take the super shot, that's where it is easier to defend. But when there's two super shot queens in the circle, like, a defender doesn't know how to shut that down really. So when it's a one super shot queen, you're gonna shut down that one and force that one to take the super shot. But when there are two in there, it's so hard to pick which one, because like in the circle you can't really give up anything or give up any space for them to get it, cause you know they're going to shoot it. And I think a team like this is probably the Swifts as well, where both are super shot queens, and even I find it that the Vixens are able to take those super shots as well. So that's where it becomes hard. But I'm all for a team with one super shot queen in the circle and forcing the other.
Oh, so Kurt, super shot or no super shot?
Well, for me, I'm not a big fan of the super shot. Like sometimes when my team is like one of the team that I'm bringing is down and I see them use it to combat, and I'm like, yeah, super shot. But overall, I'm not really a big fan of the super shot. I think it takes away from the game, the intensity of the game, because I don't like the fact that, all right, for me, if we're going to play super shot, then shoot the super shots. Like you're seeing games that teams are not shooting super shots. Super shot shooters like Sammy sometimes playing it safe under the post. It's for me. I don't see the big deal around it.
Cause you know
Kurt,
sometimes for me when my team is ahead, you know that's where I don't like it, because then the other team have the opportunity to get back on top of us. So that's what I don't like about you wanna be in the lead, not knowing that hey they can just take two pointers and maybe back into the game.
Right. And so sometimes the best team don't always win. Sometimes the
Yeah.
super shot save a lot of teams.
Jack,
Well, Thunderbirds are one of
Jack,
those
what say
teams,
you?
sometimes the super shot save Thunderbirds a lot, so you guys should love it.
The super shot
Jack,
save
what
a
say
lot.
you?
Um, yeah, it's difficult. I think from a entertainment point of view, I think it's definitely a good advert for the league. I think it makes the games more enjoyable, and you have that added element of a new rule, essentially like a fast five style game for the 5 minutes at the end of each quarter. But I do also agree with Kurt's point at the fact that you can have games where teams score less goals than the opponent but still win is obviously, I think, difficult for teams to deal with. I also think, like from what Shamira was saying, from a defender's point of view, it doesn't seem fair when the likes of kind of Janelle and Romelda peel out and start hitting 2-pointers, because then it's just like, what can a defender do? Like, you've got the long range shooter just covered, and then they're just hopping out and just popping them in like it's nothing. But yeah, I think overall, probably as a fan, yes. As a netball kind of purist, no.
For me, I'm not really. In my younger days, when I was a shooter, and I was hitting them from all all parts of the circle, I don't know. I don't know if I really. No, I would say no. I
You're a center.
like what netball is. Huh?
You're a
What's
center
sorry?
now. Are you a center now?
You see, Sammy, we talked about shade earlier, and that's shade.
Just asking.
No, I like seeing long shots, but I don't know about the extra scoring and stuff. I'm not so sure about that. But I know Australia have their reasons why they did this. I think they wanted to improve the shooting department. And I think I've seen the benefits of it in the recent international with Kira Austin when she was playing against Australia, New Zealand. She was popping shots at will from all parts of the circle. So I suppose it has its use, so to speak. But moving on, oops, we've had a bit of controversy regarding social media. So, people can be pretty ferocious on social media, especially, my mother always say, empty barrel makes the most noise. The ones who can't play are coming on social media to write. Girls, both Sammy and Shamira, have you come across things that have been written about you that you just want to maybe, let's just say, virtually slap someone. Virtually, not physically. We're not condoning violence. But if there was a virtual button to press and say, go slap him, go, Sammy.
Personally, for me, I haven't received anything directed like through a DM or anything like that to me. But you do see comments and things like that on videos that the club puts up or the league puts up that are about you. And sometimes it's not often you're looking for them, but you just, the video pops up and you see a comment straight away. So I think it's just really disappointing to see that. I think everyone's a human being. We can't all be perfect. No one's perfect. I think kindness is just so important, and why bring someone down when you don't have to? I just want to wrap my arms around the girls that are being impacted by this stuff. I'm really fortunate that I haven't received anything like this, but it's just so disappointing. And I just want to go give them all a hug and say, don't even stress about these people that are writing these things about you. But obviously words have an impact on your mental health and all that. So it's just really important that we all support each other and know that they can come to us and have a chat about it, and we're always going to be there for them, and not to worry about these people that send these messages under fake accounts and things like that. It's just really disappointing, and we're all human beings and we can't all be perfect. And why don't just celebrate the successes? And we're not all going to have great games, but that's sport. That's what happens. I think kindness is just so important in today's society.
Absolutely. Shamira, qu'est-ce que tu dis, as the French would say?
I experienced the whole social media, I think, a couple days ago. So, yes, you can make your comments, but when you're going on to tag the person or even go into the person's and DM, that's where it's not cool. Why, when you're just making a free comment, if you call my name, that's fine. I don't have to respond or anything, or I don't have to see it because you didn't tag me or anything. But when you tag me, that means you want me to see it and you want trouble. So the other day I experienced one on the Super Netball page where one tagged me in a comment, and sometimes when these persons make the comment, sometimes you just have to put them in the place for you to feel better. So I felt some type of way of what she said, but when I answered, I felt much, much better, because sometimes they think us athletes are weak and everything like that. So what I did was put her in her place and dropped my mic, and I felt better.
Yes, but
You drop the mic.
you know what? It is. I've seen some pretty tough things on social media, and it is always the ones who cannot play, especially, or can play or can shoot as good as you or defend as good as you. That come up and say the most nasty things and expect to get away with them. But I prefer the Venus Williams response, where Venus Williams, I don't know if everybody's seen that response, where she said, you know what? You will never light a candle inside me. And the ones who are normally writing about me will never play like me in their lifetime. They will never be as good as me, and they will never play as good as me in their lifetime. So you'll never light a candle. And it's good to see. So the way both of you have responded here, you have one who will give it back and one who will just, you kill them with kindness. I mean, it's good to see to see how athletes deal with such a horrible, because it is horrible, part of our game. But the question is, are we at risk though, as netball gets more professional and more money comes into the sport? Are we at risk of being seen as the Immaculate Conception, or a little bit too girly, or too prissy, or too complaining too much about nothing? Sammy?
Oh, it's a tough one. I think people are always, if they have a thought, they're just going to express it anyway. So I think it's now at a stage where it's sort of expected that we're going to that people are going to receive these messages just purely because we're playing in this league, and we're in, I suppose, in the spotlight, and we're seen playing. People are just going to I don't know, send abuse and things like that just for the sake of it, and it could, who knows what's happening in their life to make them send those awful things. But yeah, I think, as long as we stand strong, and I love that Shamira called it out. I don't think it can go unsaid and just
we've lost
slip by.
Let's wait for her to come back. Shamira, while we're waiting, can you oh yeah, she's back.
She's here.
She's back.
Here.
Are you with us, Sammy? Yes, she's here.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
I can. Yes.
Internet.
Got me?
Yes, we can. Yeah.
So yeah, I think. Oh, Shami, do you want to
go? You can finish.
I don't know. Where did I finish off? I don't want to repeat the same thing.
You said it's just you're glad that I called it out and something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think it can just be said and there's no actions. There's no consequences for people's actions. I think that's been really brave of Joe Harton to call that message out. Brave of Shami to call that out and to just put the stamp on it and say that's not acceptable and you can't be doing that to us. I haven't received it personally, so I'm not quite sure how I would react when I do, because I haven't been in that position yet. But I think, if you're receiving those horrible messages, call it out, and you got to look after you and to make sure that your mental health is important, and you're supporting your teammates and knowing that within the team there's support for you if it does happen to you. And people can say what they like if they think we're, calling out too much or whatever like that. But, we're looking after ourselves, and we've got to look after each other, and we're here to play sport because we love it. And, we're in this league, we're good at it. People are sitting there behind their keyboards and can say what they like. So, it's just about, making sure we do what we do day in and day out, and, strive for what we're working as a team.
Excellent. Shami?
I think, Colin, some people are able to handle it. Some people are strong to handle it, while some aren't strong enough to handle it. Because, for example, that DM that Joe Harton got sometime last 2 weeks ago, and knowing the Joe Harton on court compared to the Joe Harton that played after she got that DM, you can see where it has affected her and her.
Absolutely.
Games. I think some persons are able to handle it while some can't. While some won't answer, some will answer to feel better. So I think sometimes it's just good calling them out, knowing that, hey, I've seen this comment and I'm responding to you, and But I think
absolutely.
Spectators and fans need to understand that athletes, umpires, and coaches are all humans too, and we have feelings. So, you might never know what a player, or coach, or umpire person is going through, and it doesn't give any what can this player have done for you to make a comment like that, simple just by just losing a game, and then you receive a comment like that. So I think fans need to understand that people are human. We all have our down days, our bad games, and everything like that. So, yeah.
In closing, one of the great thing about this Suncore League has been the watching the Indigenous round. It seems I'm absolutely captivated by it. What is it like for you as athletes to take part in this wonderful ritual, if I could call it that. I don't know if that's the right word or something, or this celebration, so to speak. It just seems so um, spellbinding. It's chilling. It's oh my god, it's just magical to watch. Sammy, what say you?
Oh yeah, the Indigenous rounds are incredible, and I think it's. I'm so glad we were able to do it over 2 rounds this season. I think it's
Hmm.
just, and even this tonight, we're actually going to be wearing our Indigenous warm-up tops again, just because there's so much, the effort that goes into it, and the beautiful artist Shane Cook,
Absolutely.
who and the Sassy girls who together combine this beautiful design, and to hear the story behind it, and to go to a ceremony and be presented with it is so special. And the lead, it's not just the game. It's not just like we're putting the dress on and we're playing a game, but the week leading into it, you learn all about it, and it's such a special
Yes.
time, and you just feel so connected and so privileged to be able to play in this league and to be wearing this dress and to be representing the Indigenous, and to be able to, be on the court is just incredible. And I know it's Shami's favourite round, so it's just something that we adore, and we are so privileged to be a part of, and hopefully we're able to put on that dress again because we just adore it so much.
I
Really
think
well said. Yep.
I think for me, knowing the history behind the Australian culture and knowing that I
Hmm.
am a person of color,
Hmm.
that's where I get more interested and exciting about the Indigenous round. 'Cause, they've treated these person persons of color, Indigenous people, not giving them a place in society
Hmm.
in Australia. I think that goes to show that, like, just me being a person of color, it just shows that, hey, there are other persons, like, even with the racism thing, it just shows that it's just good to highlight the fact that you're recognizing these people and all of that, but it doesn't need
Hmm.
to be a round or two for it to be highlighted in
Hmm.
netball. I think I'm against the fact that no these artists have created these dress design and it's only been worn 2 rounds and all of that. So I think more needs to be into it, even
Hmm.
though this years I've been here, it has improved massively. So that's a plus to Netball Australia and all the clubs. But I think it just needs to go more and, like, educate these players in the league, because a lot of them don't know the background behind the Indigenous run and all of that. A lot of them um lack the awareness of how Indigenous people are treated in this society. So I think a good one to come up against, and knowing that I am a person of color, I'm really excited for the Indigenous round.
Hmm.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's important to highlight that even Netball Australia is always striving to do more in this area, and that's the exciting part, to know that so much more is awareness and
Yeah.
getting out into the community to make netball highlighted and achievable for more young players to come through the pathways. Is like, there's so much talent out there, and we've just got to go and find it and allow these young athletes to be able to come up through the ranks and be seen and be heard. And it's a privilege for us to be a part of it, and we do hope that we're able to wear the dress more, because 1 and 2 rounds just isn't enough, as Shami said.
Okay. Kurt, are you there? Kurt?
Yes, I'm still here. So, Colin, we could probably look ahead to the games coming up now, and since
Kurt?
these,
Is Kurt there? No. Okay.
are you guys hearing me right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
All
hearing
right,
you.
so I think Colin is having some internet issues. So we're looking at the games coming up. So we have Giants versus the Lightning. Um, One sentence, if you could just tell me who will win and where will it be won.
I think for the Lightning and the Giants game is gonna be a very tough game this weekend, but I am going for on the Giants, and it will be one in the attacking area just because Joe has been killing everybody this season.
Okay, so she'll bounce back up and have a better game this week.
Yes.
Sorry about
Sammy,
the technology loss.
not a problem, Colin. So
I'm with Shami.
We were
I
talking
think it will be. Oh, sorry.
we were talking about the games to come. I think
yes,
that's what we were
yes. So
doing.
they're helping us
Yes.
to preview the games to come. So we're
Oh,
on Giants.
excellent.
I think it will be
Any
Giants.
other?
Giants by maybe. I think it will be really close and really tough. Maybe winning by 3, and I think there will be a few super shots in there as well.
Oh, have
Yes,
you got the list there, cards of all of them?
yes, I do. I'm backing the Giants as well. As Shami said, I'm counting on Joe Harton. I know she's a really fierce competitor, and surely she wouldn't be happy with her performance last week. So I'm expecting her to come back really strong this week for the Giants, and I think they'll be too strong for the Lightning. Then the other game we'll have Melbourne Derby, whichever one you prefer. Who are we going for there?
Oh, I think this will be a really
Melbourne.
close one too.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of. Oh, you go, Sham.
No man, you go Sammy, because you're a Victorian athlete, and I'm sure you know of the fire between these two clubs. What should we expect?
Yeah, and I've actually been a part of both of them, so I do know the fire and the passion they both have. And I think, especially it not being in Victoria, I think there'll be even more. Obviously, with COVID back in Victoria, they're playing it in Sydney, so I think there'll be even more passion behind it. And I reckon Collingwood might just come out as the winners. A really close one. I think it will just be a goal-by-goal game and right to the end. Maybe Collingwood by 2.
Where will it be won?
I'm set.
I think it will just be a full team effort right to the end. I think it will be a grind to the very end.
Okay.
Because they don't have Ronnie Samuelson this week.
For now. Who knows what might happen during captain's run? Go ahead, Shami.
Like you know something, Kurt.
I'm just saying.
For me, I am going for Collingwood as well. And what I've noticed about Collingwood is they've improved, especially in that shooting hand. Shimona is playing an absolute incredible season. So I'm thinking I am going with Collingwood. And I think, as Sammy said, it's going to be a team effort from Collingwood for me as well. So, Collingwood.
I'm going with Vixens. I'm backing my old mate Simone McInnes. I think McInnes is. I remember seeing Simone McInnes play the first time in 1984. Oh, yes, I know. 84. It's the cream, Sam. It's the cream. I saw her in 1984, and I mean, what I'm seeing from her then, what I saw from her then, is what I'm seeing on the court now. That's traditional sling pass and the one-to-one grinding defense, the discipline in defending, the doggedness in defending, the fight to the end type of thing. And I think that has been instilled she's taken that as a player because, in my opinion, Simone McInnes has been the best wing defense ever to play this sport. And she's brought that from her game as a player and brought it in as a coach and put it on to the players. And my God, she's done some really good. And listen, she's lost a lot of good players last season. And what she's got there, she's developing fast. So, you know what? Yeah, I'm running with her. And Katie and Dehaney is in great. I mean, the sister is working that circle like the rent is due today. So Melbourne it is.
Simone's an exceptional coach, and I think this is the wealth of knowledge she has behind her and the passion she puts into it. She plays every ball by ball, sitting on that chair. She's playing it in her head, I reckon, as it goes, and that definitely they strive for excellence. There's no doubt about that, and I think it will definitely be a really, really close match, and it'll be really a good one to watch.
Well, I expect it to be a really close match. History favors Vixen, but I think Magpies, as Shamira mentioned, they have improved significantly this year. You have seen their combination really settle a bit more. So Vixen's attacking end without Samison has been struggling. So if Magpies defense can help them to continue that trend, then they should come out on top. But it should be an interesting one. The other game now, and I'm sure we don't have to ask who is going to win this one. Swifts versus Thunderbirds. Who is your pick, Sammy?
I'm going for Thunderbirds.
The Swifts?
No, I think it will be I feel like this round is just going to pull out some really tight, close contests. And I think this one will be very much the same. And I think it will be a grind to the end. I think Shami's going to pull in some incredible intercepts as well, and just do what she can for the team and lift us up as she always does. And I think Thunderbirds are going to take it out with a huge crowd behind us.
Awesome.
It's going to be a close match as well, because every single time we played the Vix, always a very close match. It's either losing by 1 or losing by 6. So I think this time around, it'll be a close game. So I'm still going for the Thunderbirds, but it's going to be a tough fight.
Yes.
And I like the Thunderbirds, what Tanya Obbs have done with such a very young team, because I think she's instilled, I don't know, she seems to be thinking about everything. And it's just, when you see during our team talk, I love watching our team talk, by the way. And she gives very clear instructions. I love watching that. Love it. So I think I'm going to go with you guys. I think you're going to pull it out the bag. And Sammy, please, when you do that long shot tonight, I want you to leave that hand up there.
All
right, just for you, Colin, just for you.
Just leave it up there and just turn around and give the look to the crowd.
and tell Tanya that if she's not going to play you for the full game, we need you on as soon as that buzzer is about to come on. We need you on the court, because that's the only way you'll get past Swifts tonight, in my opinion. But for Thunderbirds to win and for any team to beat Swift at the moment, the goalkeeper, so Shamira, this is your job tonight. Have to get on top of Sammy Wallace. She's in the form of her life and she's absolutely dominating that circle. So to beat Swift,
I agree with you, Chris, but remember, I am the last man of defense.
So my advice to you is do your job on Sammy. Don't worry about anything else. Do your job on Sammy. Force Helen Houseby to do a little bit more work. I mean, she's capable, but force them to change your strategy and mix it up a little bit more and see how beneficial that can be for your team.
And this is coming from a man who doesn't play defense at all.
Come here, please talk to me.
I agree with you, but I'm the last man of defensive. Our defense have to collapse that attack ahead of me for me to be able to manage Sammy. So I think to beat the Swifts, it's gonna have to be team defense tonight.
I think so, and I think your team have been doing really well, especially last week when Latanya was introduced to the game. She came on that wing and she disrupted a lot of their attack. She just was relentless. I looked at her and I'm like, this girl must have been born Australian, because she was just on it. She just never stopped. She was I actually thought at the end of the match, I said, when they were talking about play up the match, I thought she was one of the one I went for immediately. And I said, my God, because you could see the impact that she had when she
Yeah.
came on. And she shut down and gave life to the whole team. And the
Yeah.
team sort of responded to that. And I just loved how she did it. And she did it with such calm and panache. And it's like, okay, it's just my job. I've got to do it. Loved it.
Yeah, she did so well, didn't she?
So before we move on to the Firebirds versus Fever as well, Shamira, you'll play your 50th game tonight against the Swifts. You've been around. How old are you again?
I'm 25, just 25.
25 and playing 50 games. Congratulations, Shami. We're looking forward to seeing you play your 50th game. Hopefully, an MVP performance to celebrate that. Three in a row.
3 in a row.
Would spike me up the FanJam's point system. Looking forward to that. So, congratulations, Shami. Big achievement. We're really, really proud of you and looking forward to another 150 maybe.
Maybe 100, right?
Good girls. Tonight we're gonna wish you all the best of luck. Go hard, let them have it, and of course we will be back again to talk about this at some time in the future. So I know you have match preparations to do. So thank you for joining us today, Sammy. It's been
Colin,
a pleasure.
before you send them off, let them just help us with the Firebirds versus Fever, because this will be an interesting game. Because I think the Firebirds is actually a boogie team for Fever. So what do you guys think?
I think the matchup. I think the matchup for both teams are equal. So they have Jenny at that end, Ramel at that. They have Sasha. Then they have Gretel. I think the matchup, the matchup is equal from both teams. So I am going to say, I am going with the Firebirds.
All right.
It's a good one. Again, as Shami said, it's really like an equal battle out in the court. I think Firebirds will have the fire in their belly after their win last week. I think Fever might just take it over the line, but I think it will be a really good contest.
Well, for me, I'm not getting a fever this week. I'm not getting a fever this week at all. I think I'm feeling like a bird. I'm feeling a Firebird. I see purple in my vision, and I think Firebird is going to do it. I think Romelda is going to get the better of Courtney Bruce, and I think Gretel Tippett is going to put Sunday Arian finally. Let her have a bad game, because this girl has not been having a bad game. Sunday Arian, she's not been having a bad game at all. So tonight will be her first bad game. She's going to have one against Gretel Tippett and Tippett won. And I think there'll be a few stray passes into Janelle tonight. Yes, and I think Kim Jenner and Hinchcliffe are going to be riding her all the way.
Well, at the start of the season, I said that Fever will go undefeated, and I'm still going to stick with that. While Firebirds match them personnel wise, where they have the Janelle and the Romelda and the Sasha and the Tippett and so on. I think where Fever will get the edge is that they're safer with the ball, and their center pass conversion is a lot higher. While Sunday might not have a good game against Gretel, but Gretel is going to spray 2 or 3 balls, 5 or 6, sorry. She's going to spray them, showing them cross court or whatever. You know that the Firebirds will turn over the ball. Fever is a lot safer, so I think that ball safety will take them through.
Well, let's not charge her before she commits the crime. Okay? Let's wait, okay? Let's wait, while I fit my shades on. So let's wait and see what happens. She's going to come up against Sunday Arian, and she's going to want to put her in her place. She's going to want to give her a good game. Yeah? And tonight, I think Sunday's going to have her first bad game tonight.
Let's
I
see
don't.
what
That's
Sunday's
my.
gonna be about.
I don't think so. Sunday is a ball winner, and it
Let's see
doesn't.
what Sunday has to say about
She
that.
is. I mean, Sunday's a hungry goal defense. She reminds me of a little bit like when Carla Pretorius came to the league. She was just so ball hungry, you know.
Yeah.
But I think Tippett will take care of that. Tippett is a big unit, a huge unit, you know. And when that massive split landing, I mean, one leg in Queensland and the other one in Tasmania. I mean, it's difficult to stop. That's difficult to stop. You know what I mean? That big split landing, it's very difficult to stop. I know. I think I can only see one winner here. I can only see one winner. In my vision, one winner.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be a good match.
And
I'm excited to watch it.
you heard it here first on Inside Access.
Right.
Ladies,
Having us. We're
it's
gonna
been a pleasure. Yes, thank you so much for coming on. And we will, again, we must do this again. We must.
Yes, thank you so much for
Okay.
having us. I've had a ball. It's been the best
Oh.
morning ever.
Thank you so much, and good night and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye, good luck.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Colin, it's just you and
So-
me.
It's just family. So let's finish off and look at what's going to happen. Let's have a look at the VSL.
But let's just
To come.
apologize for Manix not coming on to the viewers, Colin.
Oh, yes. Firstly, yes, we must apologize unreservedly. Our guest tonight should have been Emily Mannix, but because of logistical issues with the Melbourne Vixens, she had to cancel. But she's promised that she will be with us another weekend, so we look forward to that. And so let's get into what's happened in the VSL next week, because we're coming up to round 20, and it's the crucial rounds where we're coming up to like the semifinals and finals. So, what do you think? Who will get the first that final spot? And who do you
So-
think?
It's still a toss up. I think was now out of the picture because they will depend on they will need a fairy godmother to get in the semifinals. So we can safely say was is out. So in with a chance now is Rhinos for me, and statistically was and Sirens is still in with a chance, but as I said, they will need a fairy godmother. So for me, the running is between Rhinos, who just need to win their two remaining games, which is against Celtic and I think Sirens.
Mhm.
And then you have
Well, on the 13th, we have Wasp versus Surstorm. How do you think that will go? Just give me the winner.
Wasp.
Wasp.
That's their last game, and they'll move up the ladder, but they'll to be stuck there for the rest of the season.
Hello, are you with me? Are you with me?
I am.
Wasp, Surstorm.
Wasp.
Wasp, did you say?
I did.
Did you say Wasp? Did I hear a Wasp?
Colin.
Okay. Siren, Celtic Dragon.
Ooh.
Siren, Celtic Dragon.
I'm going to biasly back Celtic for this.
Celtic Dragon, Siren. Yeah. Celtic Dragon or Sirens?
Celtic.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Kurt?
Yes, and I'm responding.
Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Can you hear me?
Yes, I am hearing you, and I think everyone else is hearing me except you.
Can you hear me? Right. So yeah, Celtic Dragon versus Sirens.
Celtic.
I can hear you now. Okay. London Pulse versus Surrey Storm. Winner.
London Pulse. I think Colin is having some technical issues, everyone. He probably thinks it's me, but it's
Okay. London Pulse versus Surrey Storm.
London Pulse.
London Pulse versus Surrey Storm. Kurt, you want to log out and come back in quickly?
All right. So London Pulse versus Surrey Storm. As you heard, I'm going for London Pulse for that one. I think they are setting themselves up. They will be trying to set themselves up to for next season. They have had some good wins in the back end, and I'm sure they'll want to continue on that string. Then the other game, and this will be a season defining game for the Mavericks. They come up again against Team Bath. They were the first team to beat Team Bath, so I'm sure they're feeling confident that they can do this again. If they get past Team Bath, I will back them in for the fourth place. If not, I think that will be it for their season, and Rhinos will take that spot. The other game of the round will see Pulse coming up against Severn Stars, and I expect Pulse to take that one again. Pulse, as I said, they are in really good form, and I expect them to come out on top for that one as well. Colin, are you back?
Yes, I'm back with you.
I'm all the way down to
Right.
Pulse 37 stars. I continued because you were not.
Okay. So what do you think about Pulse versus Mavericks? Winner.
Pulse Mavericks. So
Pulse.
Mavericks are that one.
Loughborough Lightning Thunder.
Ooh, this is a good one, and I think they'll probably come up against each other in the semifinals as well. So it will be a nice preview.
Mm-hmm.
I think Thunder will take this one.
I think so too. Mavericks Storm.
Mavericks.
Thunder Sirens.
Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Celtics Seven Stars.
I'm going to go with Celtic again.
Okay. And Leeds versus London Pulse.
Leeds.
Yes. And closing out, we have Rhinos versus Celtic.
Rhinos.
Yes. And Loughborough versus Team Bath.
I'm going to go with Loughborough here.
Me too. Right. So this is what we call the business end. And who do you think will make the final? Who are your finalists?
So we know the three that are safe: Team Bat, Lightning, and Thunder. They are all safe. So for the fourth spot, it's looking likely to come down to Leeds versus Mavericks. No, Mavericks. I am Mavericks. They have the harder run to get that fourth spot because they'll have to come up against Team Bat. And I'm saying it. I'm saying that it's harder because of where Team Bat is on the ladder. But we have to remember that Mavericks were actually the first team to beat
them. Yeah.
Team Bat. So it is possible again. And in my estimation, if they get past Team Bat again, they'll make the top four spot. If not, then Rhinos will take it.
And I don't think Bath would want to lie down and take two beatings.
No, I'm sure they will be disappointed that Mavericks ended their winning streak, so they'll be coming back with a lot of fire for that game.
So who do you see getting to the final? The last two?
I think it will be Thunder and Lightning.
No Bath?
No, I'm not. But I think Bart will lose it. If Bart,
Okay.
it depends. If Bart, well, it's. I don't think it'll be Thunder and Lightning. My apologies, because as it is now, they'll probably meet in the semifinals, so both won't be able to go through. So it might just be Team Bart versus Thunder.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Okay. Excellent. So let's go over quickly to, and let's end on the ANZ. We're not going to do them all, but what do you think have been, who has been the some of the standout players for you in the
Straight,
in the
straight
in the
ahead, I'm going
ANZ?
to. I'm straight ahead. I'm going to run to Peta Tuyava. She is to me the most.
Elizabeth Toyava.
Yeah, Peta for short. So I think she is probably the most exciting player in world netball at the moment. She's amazing to watch. What she's able to do with the ball is next to none at the moment. There's no one in the game that has her speed or vision towards that circle. I mean, she is incredibly hard to stop. I'm absolutely in love with her at the moment.
I think she's showing a blueprint of how the wing attack should be played, really.
Hmm.
And she reminds me a little bit of Sandra Edge, which was one
Okay.
of the old the old New Zealand player, but was one of the best to ever wore the bib. Um, my player, I'll have to go with. I'll have to. I want to go with Elizabeth Peter as well, but I'm gonna go with Weke.
Okay.
Weke is difficult to stop, and she's abnormal. She's unorthodox. She can elevate. It's I fear for any goalkeeper that comes up against her because they're going to have a very hard time to stop her.
I mean, and they do, Colin. But as I mentioned, my concern about Weekend, I hope you saw it in the games that she's still scoring a lot of goals and she's still incredible. But there are some balls going through her hands, and
Hmm.
that we'd expect her or she would have caught last year. So to me, she's on one level. I'm not seeing any growth, or I mean, I don't know. And her footwork as well. Like you see her falling over, not being able to balance. I'm not sure what's going on with that. But yeah, she's
Well,
unstoppable.
I think all in good time. I mean, sometimes we have to look at the education that they're getting,
Hmm.
how the education is being applied, and someone like Weke, who comes from a different sport, especially who was a long jumper. She holds a record in high jump and stuff. I mean, you have to take all those factors into consideration and stuff. And I think she is an exceptional athlete. And I mean,
She
some of the goalkeepers that she's caught up in the that competition, I mean, it's not even worth thinking about.
so
You
Colin,
know?
I want to throw some shade at you because I remember a couple of weeks ago I said to you that don't be surprised if we would see Stars throw Anna Harrison out at wing defense to try to slow down Petit Tuyaba, and you were like,
Mm.
no nonsense. Hey, guess what? Hannah Harrison started that game at wing defense in an effort.
But did it bear fruit? Did it bear fruit? No.
It didn't. But I'm saying it wasn't a bad strategy because I mean they needed to slow the feed down into Wiki because Anna Harrison, even though she has great elevation, she still not able to compete with Wiki if that ball is placed properly. So I understand the strategy they tried, and while Anna Harrison didn't get the reward out front, we saw Oceana Mahi come in at the goalkeeper position, and she was awesome. She
Mm.
had about 4 intercepts and a lot of deflections, and um, another young player getting her opportunity and really shining.
But I think though, maybe 4 years ago, or maybe 5 years ago, if they had put the Anna Harrison then against Elizabeth Peter now, maybe that would have worked. But I just think it wouldn't now to put her now the
Mhm.
stage that she's in. No, no. I mean, Elizabeth would just. I mean, she was having it her own way. It was like going through a drive-through at McDonald's.
Mhm.
You know, she was just ordering what she wanted.
Yeah,
You know.
I think with a player like Peta, she's so short. But what works for her and what young players or any player should something they could take from her is her release of the ball. Her release is so fast. Players oftentimes don't get time to put up hands, and she reads the play long before she catches the ball. So by the time
Yes, yes,
she already know where she's going to pass it. So I mean, by the time hands are to go up, it's almost like it doesn't make any sense.
yes. And so what that's telling me that our hands are not on the ball as much as a normal wing attack, so to speak. You know,
Mm-hmm.
her fingers, she's very light fingers, you know, and but she the power that comes from behind it. Because sometimes if you notice when she's in the center third of the court, she may look one way and look the other way and then put the pass straight through the two defenders. And that happens
Disrespectful,
quite a lot. This is not the one time she's done it or two times she's done it. She's done this constantly,
and I mean,
you know?
all the defenders, she have done it against all the defenders. Even years gone by with against Casey Kapu and Leona De Bruyne. I mean, a lot of New Zealand greats have faced it.
Yes, yeah. And
Silver Ferns on the card for her?
I'm sorry?
Do you think a Silver Ferns call up is on the cards for her?
I don't know why not? Why she's not in there now? Because to me, she's better than what some of them that's in there now. But maybe they haven't got the end product yet for her to feed into. Because maybe she's you know, like for instance, if you have two mobile shooters, how would she fit into that?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she wouldn't fit in that so well, but I actually believe she could.
Surely, Wiki was called up in the squad last year when they played the Cadbury series against the males. And with England
Absolutely.
out now, if Wiki is brought back into the squad, do you think that automatically Peter should come with her?
Yes, I think so. Because you're gonna need someone who has that understanding, who
Mm-hmm.
has that knowledge about her, and who better to go to than Elizabeth Toyaba. I mean, she is just in a different league of her own. And what I like about her off court, when you speak to her off court, she's just so shy
Yeah.
and she displays this vulnerability that makes you love her even more. I just think she's just
On the
a
court, she's a complete different person. She's like a baby,
absolutely,
like a cheerleader.
absolutely,
Oh,
absolutely. And I love that about her.
hopefully
Yeah.
we can get her on here one
Well, the
day.
producers are pulling out the strings.
Thank
Every
you.
week the budget is going up, and I'm sure we will get this in the end.
Viewers, we can only get
So,
a bigger budget if you guys continue to come on and watch, share, like, comment,
yes,
join in the action. We love having you. And
and
I mean,
don't forget to like and click share.
you want to hear from the netball stars, and we want to have them. So help us get the budget up so we can have more. And
And
okay, mhm.
before we go, have you noticed that in Australia there is the State of Origin test series that was going on? Game one was tonight. It was going on while we were on air.
Okay.
Um, yes, and game two, I believe it's tomorrow. If you look on my page, my Facebook page, you'll see the schedule.
Okay, so
So
if you can share that, Colin, if you can share that to the FanJam page later tonight. So, viewers, if you want to take in some netball, the State of Origin netball competition is going on now. So, you can look for
I
the
think
link on
it's
FanJam's page later tonight, and you
yes,
can.
I think it's where you live. I think so. It's like where you were born and bred or something like. So you've either had to be born in. I think. Don't quote me wrong. I could be wrong.
Mhm.
Australians, if you're online, come and correct me. I think if you were It's between us, Queensland and New South Wales. And I think you've had to be born in those states to be able to compete for them.
Okay.
Um, yeah, that's why it's called state of origin,
Mm-hmm.
I think. Yeah. And they have it in all other sporting disciplines as well. So it's a very well tried and tested um,
Competition.
yes, in Australia. So
Nice.
the men's just had their run tonight, and I think it's a wonderful thing. I would like to thank Dave Mills for sending the link to us tonight and telling us about it and stuff like that. Thank you, Dave, and we will be keeping an eye. And in closing, we would like to thank all our viewers that were with us tonight. Thank you for coming on. Don't forget to click like, click share, and of course, our extra special guest, Sammy Gooden, lovely girl, and the amazing Shamira Sterling.
And Colin, while we're on male netball, we just want to share with the viewers that are fans of male netball that
Yes.
our tournament here in the Americas, well, the main tournament here in this side of the world men's competition, which is held in the US annually.
Mm-hmm.
We mostly have Caribbean teams participating, but we have players from all over the world, from Europe. We had an Australian team one year, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
very good competitive competition. The venue for it has been announced for Fort Myers, Florida. Sorry, October 8th to 10th. I'll be there. Hopefully, Colin will be there. Um,
If I'm not quarantined,
well,
you heard it here first.
well, so yeah, come out, support that competition. If there's any male players here watching from anywhere around the world, I mean, my team, World Male, we have won the last three championships.
But they
And
won't win the next one.
that says Colin, but we need somebody to come and give us a little bit more competition. And so I'm challenging any teams around the world. Come on, bring it to us. We are here and really, really want to put on some good netball show for
And
the
don't forget, in England are having their championship this year too.
Mhm.
So yes, so the reemergence of men's netball, as so
And
to speak.
I hear a little birdie told me that the English players are scared of us, the Caribbean players. Is that true?
Well, that may be individual stuff. That may be
Uh,
individual players. I don't think in general all the other players are scared. I think those are individual. The
well, I'm
person
talking
who
about
said
Knights
that,
netball and Giants netball, guys. We'd love to be able to play against you. We have seen you play against the teams over in the Vitality competition, and yeah, come on out. Let's test your skills against us. We'd want to test our skills against you guys. So, night,
they'll have to test their skills at some point because the World Championship will be coming up at some point. So they'll have to test their skills at
all
some
right,
point.
Colin.
And we'll all be here to see it.
All
And
right.
that's what we will call Abdication Day, the day when the royalty will lose their crown. And on that note, Kurt, as the French would say, c'était un plaisir comme d'habitude. It's been a pleasure
It has.
for you to join us tonight. Thank you so much. And to all our extra special guests and to all our wonderful viewers across the world who have stayed up and watched with us tonight. Thank you so much for staying up. Um, and don't forget, next week we have another big helping of Netball Stars right here on
And we can
FanJam.
actually tell them, Colin, we'll have the one and only, the spearhead of Team Bat at the moment, Kimberly Borger, and she'll be joining us along with Queensland great Kim Revalian.
Kim Rebellion. Yes. So see, we pull out the stars. We
All
get
because
them.
of you guys, all because of you. So remember, during the week, share the poster, tell a friend, and it's a good space for young netballers to come more and learn about the sport and develop your individual game and knowledge as well, more knowledge. So come out and have a listen. Tell a friend. We're here for everybody.
Don't forget to like and click share.
All right,
Thank you
Colin.
guys, and thank you for coming, and much love. See you next week.
Bye.